On the go? So are we. Get the IBJ Media app, your all-in-one news source for Indiana business news. Get breaking news alerts, read every story from IBJ, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Lawyer, and listen to your favorite podcasts all in one place. Big news, small screen. Search IBJ Media and download the app today.
This is the IBJ podcast for the week of May 11th, 2026, brought to you by Taft. I'm your host, Mason King. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Now in its 55th year, Indiana Black Expo has broad brand recognition in central Indiana as a summertime celebration of Black culture, an education conference, a youth leadership summit, a health forum, and a music festival. But the umbrella not-for-profit organization of the same name operates 365 days a year, acting as a voice and vehicle for the social and economic advancement of Black youths and families. The other big annual event hosted by IBE is the Circle City Classic, which typically features a football game between two historically Black colleges or universities, along with a downtown parade and events focused on education, careers, and culture. Last week, IBE announced a change at the heart of the Classic, as well as the addition of a new event that would bring basketball teams from HBCUs to Indianapolis. IBJ inadvertently released the information several days in advance of the official rollout on Saturday at IBE's headquarters. This left readers without related context. So we invited CEO Alice Watson to be our guest on this week's edition of the podcast to explain in detail the economic reasons behind the switch from college football programs to Indianapolis-based high school teams, as well as the creation of a basketball invitational in 2027. But I also wanted to take a deep dive into all of the educational programming and scholarships IBE offers throughout the year without nearly as much fanfare. Here's our conversation. It's my pleasure to welcome to the podcast Alice Watson, CEO of Indiana Black Expo. Alice, thanks so much for making time to come to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
So let me start with a little preamble. I think it would help listeners to start off talking about Indiana Black Expo as a not-for-profit organization. You have this incredible brand recognition as Indiana Black Expo, but I think a lot of people locally think of the brand as the event, as what we call summer celebration. Is that something that you feel is true?
I think that's very true. And again, thank you for having me. I know the path that we got here was a little rocky. We've had some news that came out before our actual event, which is our open house that we just completed. So glad that IBJ is giving me the opportunity to provide some clarity for the community and those who, again, have read some news and weren't actually able to attend our event. So again, thank you for having us. We certainly do. We have two major events that everyone knows about, but this is great to have this format to talk about what we really do and what's behind those two events and why they mean so much to us.
Sure. So we have summer celebration. This will be the 55th year.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Typically about 10 days of music festivals, business conferences, exhibitions, fundraisers, education events. I think many people in Indianapolis also make the connection between Indiana Black Expo and Circle City Classic.
Yes.
Which traditionally has an HBCU football game, and there's a fantastic parade, and then additional cultural events and education events. I'm gleaning, though, that the real meat of what Indiana Black Expo does as an organization takes place over the other 350 some days out of the year.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And it's also what's embedded in those events. You know, we have a mission that we've had since its inception, which is to showcase the excellence of African Americans in the community and also across the state of Indiana. You know, we are a statewide institution, so we have 12 chapters who do similar work as us. But it's all about the programming. It's all about making an impact in the community. So, again, we do have those major events, but we have a performing arts academy that we have that's embedded inside of our building. We do a business training institute also. A lot of what happens within those 10 days are actually programmatic initiatives that align with what we do. The health fair, which I'm sure we can talk a little bit more about that as we have this conversation, but we do so much more throughout the year, trying to make a difference in the community. I mean, that is really our impact, trying to give youth the opportunity for what's out there, which is when you talk about Circle City Classic, it's really exposing our youth to post-secondary options and opportunities. Career pathways are important for the kids. We're dabbling and jumping right into the mental health component because a lot of that, again, is touching our youth. It's really like a silent killer, if you will. So we do a lot of programming. We touch on mental health for the adults also a lot.
Okay, at risk of being here for 2 weeks, I really kind of want to go through this systematically.
Yes.
I try to do a little bit of research before these interviews, and even though I was born here and I've lived most of my life here, I was not aware of these programs.
Yes.
And it's flabbergasting. So my understanding is, I mean, if you look at it as a branch of trees, there are 4 major planks.
Yes.
There are community empowerment.
Yes.
Economic empowerment, education and youth development, and health and justice.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go through some of these and hit some of these highlights. So first we have community engagement. And that is a branch that includes Summer Celebration and Circle City Classic. But there are also programs like Taking Your Seat Leadership Institute, which is fascinating to me. What is that?
So Taking Your Seat Leadership Institute was actually an initiative that we started that was funded by IAAQLI. And the point of that is what we're seeing generationally is that there's a huge gap in leadership roles across the state of Indiana, and in particular within Indianapolis. A lot of young people, young adults are shying away from politics. And a lot of them are unaware of how that animal and beast works. And so we started the Taking Your Seat Leadership Initiative to really try to engage young adults in the process and to go through the process with them, to explain how it works, that a lot of the changes that take place legislatively are actually behind the scenes and not after the scenes. So not just on the state level that we encourage young adults to get involved and to know what's happening. It's at the city level. It's at the school level, with school boards and trustees. And so we bring in panelists to really talk to them about the processes and how it goes, to try to get them excited about it, not to shy away from it, but to be engaged.
Yeah. It's super easy to feel powerless.
Yes.
I mean, even I'm pretty close to the wheels of power, I guess you could say, because I cover them, but I feel powerless a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we get them excited, about the possibilities of something that a lot of young adults are shying away from. So that is really the intent of that, is to really give them a safe space to have the conversation and have the dialogue and to get them back interested in a space, quite honestly, that no one wants to touch anymore. So that is the Taking Your Seat Leadership Institute.
Also on this branch is, tell me if I'm pronouncing this right, is Amplify You.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's actually, quite frankly, the younger version of Taking Your Seat Leadership Institute. So those are our middle to high school kids. Again, really talking about the process, getting them more engaged, even within the school systems, to be more leaders, to advocacy roles. So we've got 20 kids who are actually engaged in that right now. So it's a younger set of kids, and talking to them about how to be a leader, how to be an advocate. What does that really mean? How does government really work? And let's talk about it.
Right. And then there is, this is kind of a generic name, but the annual statewide conference.
That's actually a conference that we have with all of our chapters.
Okay.
So that is a statewide conference where we bring in the chapter leaders. Everyone kind of mirrors us. I mean, there is a president, there's a treasurer, there's the state representative, if you will. So what we do is we bring the chapters in. We talk about the initiatives that we have as a state headquarters. and we actually guide them to engage within their own cities on issues that are important to them or making a difference when it's important to them, whether it's fundraising for book bags or, whatever it is that's if you're addressing a stop the violence within your community. So really giving them the tools to carry forth our vision and our initiatives.
Okay. Want to move on to one?
Yeah.
Economic empowerment.
Yes.
IBE Business Training Institute. What is that?
So IBE Business Training Institute, actually, that vision was an onset of really COVID.
Really?
When it hit.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was actually what we found is that businesses across the state of Indiana who were greatly impacted, we did a partnership with the state actually to guide those businesses towards resources on recovery. And so we did this. The initiative is to tell those businesses about the recovery opportunities that were available to them. And what we found is across the state of Indiana is that Black businesses didn't have the tools they needed to access the funds. A lot of it was because with the recovery program, you had to show that there was a loss of funding, right, of revenue because of the impact of COVID. And what we found is they had received bad business advice. So it was almost like we were sending businesses down a rabbit hole for this funding opportunity, and they didn't have the resources, nor could they show that there was a funding gap, because it could have been that their accountant said, don't show a profit over the years, don't show revenue. So they couldn't show revenue growth and that they were impacted by COVID. So we touched close to 2,000 businesses across the state of Indiana. And of those 2,000 businesses, less than 5% had the opportunity for the recovery funds. It's crazy as it seems. So what we did is we decided that we would dive deep into that to really provide businesses with the resources that they needed. I call it the toolkit, right?
Yeah.
So with that toolkit, we provided services and to help them to write a 5-year business plan. Look at your financial planning. What does that mean? What's your sustainability model? And so this has grown year after year after year. And so that is our Business Training Institute. We do a 12-week training. It's not a surface dive. It's a deep dive into their business to see what do they need to be successful and sustainable.
Man, wow, that's super valuable. Okay, let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsor. This is the IBJ Podcast.
Taft, today's modern law firm. At Taft, we cultivate a highly respectful, transparent workplace that fosters creativity, teamwork, inclusion, and diversity. We couple our culture with a client-first approach, rewarding lawyers who understand their clients' goals and work to deliver success. Taft, the modern law firm. To learn more, visit taftlaw.com.
Building a home or looking to upgrade what you already have? That's where Indie Grills comes in. From fireplaces, outdoor kitchens, to entire custom patios, we bring everything together to create spaces designed for how you actually live. We work directly with homeowners and partner with custom home builders to get it right from the very start. Are you looking for inspiration? Our massive showroom on the Zionsville-Lebanon border was built to help you see what's possible. So when you're ready to elevate your space, head to indiegrills.com and connect with our team.
All right, we're back with this week's episode of the IBJ Podcast. In my interview with Alice Watson about Indiana Black Expo and the changes coming this fall for the Circle City Classic. There's the Small Business Series. Is that covering something different?
It actually is the Small Business Series. It's a series of really not a podcast, but it's actually a series of replay videos of what we did when COVID was in place. Is and so we had key experts, panelists who talked about, again, recovery.
Oh, it's like webinars.
They're webinars,
Yeah,
yes.
gotcha,
So they're
right.
webinars,
Yeah.
which if you look at them today, they're still relevant.
Yeah.
Right. And so they continue to get the hits. They continue to get the replays. It's just really resources for them. And we know that it's effective because every time we think about taking it down, we go and we look and we see, okay, where is it? What's the touch points on YouTube? And people keep going back to it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's jump to education and youth development. You mentioned the Performing Arts Academy. Tell me about that.
So, we moved onto the really the most challenging side in Indianapolis on the east side of town. We had this vision that we actually made ourselves very uncomfortable, right? We had been on Meridian Street forever. I mean, it was the second building, after the first building on Sutherland, I believe it was, which was the building that Reverend Charles Williams started. Indiana Black Expo, or he was the president. And actually, let me go back to that because I always like to give kudos to the women who had the vision for Indiana Black Expo. There were actually 5 founders, but that vision came from Operation Breadbasket in Chicago. So the Meridian Street was our second facility. And so what we decided to do is we decided to go into the most challenging and the most underrepresented side of town to expand our programming. And so we moved into the old Crossroads Bible College on the east side of town, right next door to Randsburg YMCA.
Okay, sure.
And the intent is that was where we believed there was the greatest need for youth programming. And so we expanded from a 4,500 square foot building to a 45,000 square foot building, which is why we wanted to do the open house. Because again, a lot of the community really, they just don't know what we do. And hopefully this open house would open some eyes as we're having this conversation.
When did you make the move?
We made the move right before COVID.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. And I will tell you that I was in the building by myself for practically a year as we were renovating it. So we took the first wing. Crossroads Bible College is like 3 different buildings. We took the first building and we converted it into a performing arts academy. Because what we found is kids back in our day, it was community centers, right? Which the kids went to. Kids today are very interested in the arts. And so what we said is let's do this Performing Arts Academy and let's meet them where they are, right? So kids want to be, you say you want to be a rapper, you want to lay down beats. Okay, well, we've got a studio for you to be a rapper. You say you want to be a dancer. Okay, we've got a dance studio that is actually 4,500 square feet. The dance studio all by itself.
Are you joking?
Yes. No,
that's huge.
No,
I mean,
no, you should have came.
I should go.
Yes.
You're right. I should have been there.
Yes. So what we did, we've got videography, we've got photography, but that really wasn't the intent of the program. The intent of the program is let's get them in. Let's have some conversations with them. Let's see what their needs are and let's address those needs. So you say you want to be a rapper. Okay. So what if at the time you didn't cut a record, right? You got to manage it. So how do you manage this vision? How do you manage it? So we teach how to be an entrepreneur, how to manage finances. We have a music control studio also. Maybe you can't do the musician thing at this time, but guess what? There's money in working the control board. Okay. You can be a stage manager. You can run a stage. So what we do is we get the kids in and we kind of talk to them. We do a pre and post test. We see where they are academically. Wherever you are on your journey academically, what our commitment is that we're going to make sure the kids are a step closer to post-secondary vision. So that is the whole intent let's get these kids in, figure out what they need. Again, we've added another component. And we're not the experts. The one thing about us is we are not really a direct service organization. We're a connector organization. It's all with our vision of being an advocate. So that was the whole purpose of moving on the east side of town. We do our Business Training Institute. We started this year and last year opening the facility up more to our community partners, just because, of course, there are challenges now today. So We've opened the building up to other organizations who need meeting space. We've got coming this summer, we've got actually a youth program for young 5-year-olds to middle schoolers, and it's another organization. So that's kind of what we do over there.
Okay. Tell me about the scholarship fund.
So Circle City Classic, one of the visions of Circle City Classic was to raise funds to give back scholarships to youth across the state of Indiana. Since its inception, we've provided over $5 million in scholarships to young people across the state. They range anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500, depending on the number of applicants that we receive. So we raise funds actually to pour those back into our youth to provide access to post-secondary education.
And so Circle City Classic acts as the fundraiser for that program.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And these are annual scholarships.
Yes.
Okay. This one is something I probably need to attend. Is College Matters.
College Matters.
Yeah.
Yes. College Matters. Yeah. It actually is a FAFSA initiative in partnership with Fairbanks. Okay. And so, and we're on our third year, and what we found over the years, and a lot of this was really with the change of the requirements for FAFSA. So we wanted to make sure that students understood the rules. What we found in our community is that the kids know how to do it. It's a requirement for the parents to be more engaged now in the application process. So
I think the state requires it.
Yes. And it used to be, back in the day, a kid could fill out an application and get away with saying, I signed my parents' name, but it's very different and unique now. And so we found after the second year is that we needed to get the parents involved more. And so now we've added another component, which is the parent leadership initiative. And what we do is we bring the parents in and we work with the parents to work with the kids to get through the application process. We have a hook. A lot of times parents, again, when you're serving a community that's underserved, underrepresented, it's tough to get parent involvement sometimes, but we have summer celebration. We have Circle City Classic. So, maybe we incentivize with gifts of, we've got drawings for tickets to the concert or something like that. So, and we also do it during summer celebration because we know the families come out for that event.
And there's also, and I may screw this up too, is it IBX Youth Entrepreneur Series?
That is actually our youth, and that's the Entrepreneur Series. We do 2 days during summer celebration where we're working with kids who want to be entrepreneurs. We do a contest for the kids, and we've had some kids who've done great with the pitch contest. We've had designers, kids who've gone on and because we posted on our web page or our Facebook page, they've been very successful. We had a young man who actually did very well because he designed jeans. But we teach them how to be entrepreneurs for those 2 days. Okay.
I want to jump to health and justice, and because you brought it up, the mental health education and advocacy program.
Well, again, in our community, it's kind of has been a stigma traditionally. A lot of times we don't talk about our health issues, and that's not just our community, but certainly, a lot of times folks are like, okay, we're just going to take this to the Lord in prayer, and you got to tough it up, and and for kids, it's very difficult. Kids today are being bullied. They don't talk about it, so what we did again is we added the mental health component to our programming. We do that 2 times a year. We do it during summer celebration, and we also do it during Circle City Classic. During Circle City Classic, it's youth and young athletes focus. During summer celebration, we've done things inside the health fair. Caregivers is very challenging. So We've done it in partnership with NAMI, of course, because again, we're not that direct services. So we push those folks and encourage them to reach out to NAMI.
Yeah. It's incredible how much pressure athletes are under.
Especially young ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very difficult. They've got school. It's very competitive sports in school now. So you've got your grades you got to worry about. You really are, kids put a lot of pressure on themselves. Again, when you think about back in the day, it was a fun sport. I think about my daughter. It's like she had to pick a sport when she was in middle school. It used to be you could do all these sports, but it's like you got to pick which one you want to be really good at. And at the same time, once you get to the high school level, you have your school sport.
Right.
You have, whether it's AAU or whether it's Premier Soccer or whatever it is, it's a lot of pressure on kids. And kids don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And parents assume they know who their kids are. We did a panel discussion, and one of the panelists said, parents, don't tell the kids how they feel. Don't try to talk to them about their feelings. All they want you to do is listen. They just want you to listen. They don't want you to have an opinion. They don't want your advice. They just want you to hear them.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, we were at Warren Central, 300 kids, mesmerized. One of them had his phone, and the panelist said, put your phone down. But 300 kids, only one was looking at their phone. So, I mean, it just gives you chills when you do programs and you know you're making a difference.
And then there's the anti-tobacco campaign.
Yes. Winding down, actually, it was a very important partnership that we had with the Department of Health, the State Department of Health. Started some years ago, and it's very interesting that we segue into that because it also, there's a story around it, right? We actually, back when tobacco tax was a thing, right? And the state had a significant amount of funding, of course, to address the issues of tobacco throughout the community. It's funny because we did a lot of work across the state of Indiana in partnership with the Department of Health, where we helped a campaign going to schools about, the dangers of smoking. In our community, what we found, again, the menthol was really in the Black community. It was very prevalent. And so we had a lot of cancers in our community. A lot of the marketing was dictated in our community. And so we became a huge component of legislative law that was pushing for tobacco out of bars and, cigarette smoking out of bars. And a lot of those initiatives, very successful, again, in northern Indiana, in southern Indiana, and of course here in central Indiana. So that was a huge campaign and issue for us. And because we partnered with the state on tobacco cessation, if you will, we stopped taking marketing dollars for our concert. We also took it a step further and we stopped taking alcohol dollars. Mm. So we went away from sponsors for one of our major events, which was the outdoor concert, because we said, okay, what hypocrites would we be when we were out campaigning to say, okay, dangers of smoking in our community, which was very prevalent, alcohol, very prevalent. What did we look like taking that money and posting it all over our video screen? So it was a huge campaign. We did it for years. And of course, for whatever reason, of course, there were budget cuts or the tax money has fallen off. But we still are sticklers. We still campaign against the dangers of tobacco Now, of course, the cigar bars are all over the place, but, I mean, we had to talk to a couple of our chapters like, hey, you can't do that. It's like, let's have a party at the hookah bar and cigar bar. No, you can't do that as Indiana Black Expo. But, it's like the bobblehead, right? Like you get rid of one thing and now there's the other. But
Okay.
who am I to say? My husband is a golfer. Let me not say anymore. But yes.
Understood. So the revenue part of it is interesting. So what are the sources of revenue that help fund all this?
It's tough for our fundraisers.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. I mean, we've changed our model over the years. We used to, one of our big revenue generators was for the fees to get into the exhibition hall.
For the summer celebration.
For summer celebration. We stopped doing that because it wasn't family friendly.
Yeah.
So that was a revenue source that we cut off. We cut off liquor, alcohol. So, when we look at revenue now, it really is sponsor driven for our community. We get it where we can. We've gotten it over the years and years past with our sponsors who maybe will sponsor holistically summer celebration or particular events like our corporate luncheon or which is one of our big revenue generators, quite honestly. So, and our model is a little bit different than a lot of other nonprofits. Again, we offer a concert where you have entertainment and you usually have 4 or 5 entertainers, and these aren't local entertainers. These are national entertainers. Our luncheon is different from a lot of other nonprofit lunches because we have entertainers that we honor and highlight for what their body of work. So we're very unique as a nonprofit with what we do. But I mean, I think it's important. It's part of our community empowerment to give back. We've raised some funding with our exhibition hall for our exhibitors. One of the other reasons why we made it a free event because we wanted folks to come in and patronize our exhibitors. So,
So when I got married, I moved away from downtown. Mm-hmm. So I've lost touch with what summer celebration looks like. So do you not have the concert by the War Memorial anymore?
We actually have the concert now at IU Indy.
Oh, okay.
At the IU Michael Carroll Stadium.
Got it.
Yeah, we did that for a number of reasons. One, we have been told for like over 5 years, really almost since COVID time, if not before, that the size of our concert and the way that we actually executed it with the footprint wasn't the safest model, especially with what was starting to happen, and it's greater now than ever before, where, you've got mass shootings. And the way that we had our facility set, it was open. Right. I mean, you could just walk down the street with an Uzi. I mean, I don't want to be, but that's what you could do. And so we looked at the cost equation. We could have done it very similar to some of the other activations with Pride activation, and you had NCAA where it was gated. Mm-hmm. But it also was gated and it was mobile. Those events, folks aren't sitting.
Yeah. They're
not embedded in the pit, if you will. And so we made a conscious decision that, and it was a tough one. I mean, this role is not a popularity contest by any means, but we made the decision to make it a safer venue or activation. So we went to IU Michael Carroll Stadium.
Okay. And how's that working out?
It's starting to, it's interesting. The first year, I think there was kind of a protest of resistance.
Sure. Yeah.
But the attendance is increasing. Actually, this one will probably be our most attended concert. Now we got some entertainment. Everyone loves Kim, and we try to kind of diversify it. So we've got King George, who's one of the fan guys. So we've got some great October London, who's from South Bend. I think it's from South Bend. I always get that wrong. We've got one of my staff people who's from South Bend. I think I said Fort Wayne one time and she got mad at me. And then we have, the kind of the old school band with Midnight Stars. So we've got a great lineup.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
A great lineup. And then we'll also have local entertainment who usually kicks off, but really excited about this year's concert.
Yeah. I go to the Michael Carroll Stadium to see the soccer games.
Yep.
And, that's a good setup.
Yes.
I mean, it's welcoming, but,
It's festival
you
style.
have to get in and out. I
Yes.
mean, there are only a few places you can do it.
Yes. Yes.
And there's lots of open room.
It's great. And anybody who's gone to the concert says it's the best experience. We've just got to get them in there.
Yeah, for sure.
But we certainly have some positive responses from that location. So we'll stick with it.
Yeah. So before we get any further, I want to talk about Circle City Classic. Since you announced some changes to the format just late last week, and then here's my preamble to all that. The preface is that we at IBJ Media, as you mentioned earlier, those of us who are responsible for publishing news on our website inadvertently ran a story on Tuesday about the changes using information we were supposed to hold until the weekend when you were announcing them in full. And so I would like to join the rest of the editorial staff in apologizing.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And by the way, some of the information wasn't quite accurate. So let me provide some clarity on that.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's very interesting because Circle City Classic is known nationally across the country. I mean, it's well known, probably more well known than even Summer Celebration because of the history. Yes.
Even though it's I mean, I think it's about Summer Celebration is probably 14 years older.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Circle City Classic, 1984.
Yeah.
But here's the difference. Circle City Classic was one of the first of 5 original classic football games.
Okay.
And the only one in the Midwest at one time. So what you see, and we'll talk a little bit more about it if we can, but there are now 27 football classics across the country. The majority of them, we went one year to the Florida Classic, which the Florida Classic is anywhere, it averages anywhere from 40 to 60,000 people. Ran into the founder of that classic, who says to us, "Oh my God, you guys are Circle City Classic? You know this game is because of you and what Reverend Williams did with Circle City Classic?" And it's like, okay, we didn't know whether to be flattered or insulted because it's kind of bittersweet, but it is a classic that has actually pulled people from our Circle City Classic. And now it's twice as big as our classic.
Right.
So it's a national thing. I mean, it is a big thing. And so it was a little tough. We were trying to do it strategically because we knew what the response would be. And of course, it's been grabbed nationally also. But the last one, I think the number was 3,000. And I just wanted to clarify that the head count was 3,000 that you guys had put out there.
Oh, we said 3,000.
Yeah, you said 3,000.
Okay.
And you probably pulled it from another national source, which is HBCU Game Day, which, reports on classics. For the last 2 years, they do, it's like, how do you know the number? And it's usually, it's some sort of, just an aerial view, an account. Well, the thing about classics, and in particular our classic, folks don't come in until after halftime, usually around the time of the Battle of the Bands. So it was accurate that it was probably 3,000 at the beginning of the kickoff. We also have our youth activation program, which happens in the perimeter at the Coates, the Horseshoe, right?
Yeah.
We have 2,500 kids who attend our Education Day College Career Fair. They hadn't gotten in, so you had a lot of activity. Totally distributed. And then of course, no one counts what's happening in the suites, which is a party all by itself. Yeah. There were 13,000. Not an acceptable number by any means, but certainly a little bit better than 3,000, if you will. So, no, I appreciate the apology and would love to get off into some of the conversation about Circle City Classic.
Yeah, for sure. So traditionally, Circle City Classic has been the HBCU football game.
Yes, that's been the highlight of it.
Highlight it,
Yes,
right.
I mean, it's much more going on with Circle City Classic than the football game.
Right. So, I mentioned the parade.
Yes.
You just mentioned education events. There are cultural events.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what is the part that would change this year?
What changes is the football game.
Okay.
And just for the very reason I stated, which is that when we were one of five, certainly we had alumni who followed it, especially in the Midwest, where there are now 27.
Mm-hmm.
We did a study in 2013, 2014. We had a Circle City Classic feasibility committee, and we had community stakeholders, sponsors on this committee. Actually, Mickey Maurer was one of the members of the committee. We had Milt Thompson, we had Chris Gall, we had Joe Loftus, who back in the day, of course, was a sports corp. So Woody Myers, we had all these community leaders, and we got together with IBE management. And at that time, we were starting to trend down. And when I say trend down, is the irony of ironies, trend down was about 25,000 people. And so out of this feasibility study, and it was a whole year study where we touched community leaders. We had these conversations, what are your thoughts about this football game? What do you think? What do you think? And the outcome of that was, at the end, it was very interesting. And it was the majority vote, but everyone wasn't in it, agreed to it, is we were told, lower your expectations. 25,000 is a decent number for an event. It just doesn't look right. The optics are not there because you're in a 65,000 to 70,000 seating capacity building.
Yeah, it's huge.
So, yeah. And we weren't necessarily losing money at that time. We were breaking even. And so, the committee says, as long as you're not losing money, it's a give back to the community. Just keep doing what you're doing. And we're like, okay, well, that's what you say. The other competition kept growing and growing and growing. And then there was a dynamic that started to happen with classics. Number one, promoters were getting involved. Cities were actually starting to fund the entire event. It was their community.
So like as a convention and tourism.
Yes, it was their give back. We had a different model, and we were a nonprofit also. The cost of teams was starting to increase. Again, a lot of dynamics happening. Bands were starting to become popular all by themselves. You have bands now who are playing in NFL stadiums. Schools can't control some of those bands. I mean, they have their own autonomy. They run on their own. And so the costs began to get just out of control. I mean, the other dynamic that was happening is you had major universities who were reaching out to the HBCU teams. In 2024, Notre Dame paid Tennessee State $1 million to play in their stadium. We were there. We were doing our marketing for our game.
Yeah.
We had alumni that came to us and they said, why don't you have us back? We want to come back to Indy. We said, we can't afford you.
Right.
So we went from budgeting $300,000 for two teams to last year when we looked at our budget and we said we can't do it because the estimated price for two teams was going to be over $750,000. Wow. And so as a nonprofit...
Can I stop you just real quick? So is that money that you would just give to the university?
Yes.
Say, okay, this is going to cover your costs, or you can spend this however you want to, but this is what we're giving you.
This is what we're giving you.
Okay. So you went from 300...
So 300 for two teams.
For two teams, yeah.
To 750 for two teams.
For two teams.
Yeah.
Over what period of time?
It kept going. So I would say it started in 2022.
Okay. Oh, wow. So really small period of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. Now, don't get me wrong. I love HBCUs. I've have the utmost respect. They're getting their ass because they should be getting it. It's kind of like the WNBA. right? I mean, that is their value. But what is factored in with that is this whole popularity explosion of the bands. And so when you're looking at that price tag, that includes the band. And if they will say, well, if you don't want the band, the band alone could be $100,000 all by itself.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a tough model for us to chase as a nonprofit. I mean, we just can't do it. It doesn't mean that we still don't have our vision and our mission, which is to expose our youth and families to HBCUs. It's just we've got to be more creative in how we do it.
Right. So there still will be football, though. So what is replacing the football game?
High school.
Okay.
High school, which is really consistent with our vision, right? By the way, we will have 3 bands that will be a part of it. So we still have HBCU presence. We will still do our recruitment college career fair, which are the majority are HBCU schools. So nothing really changes.
Yeah.
What it is, we started thinking about it, and actually we had another committee. Again, none of this is done just lightly. It's not like Alice Watson just pulled the switch and said, let's just do this thing. In 2024, going into 2025, we had another committee, and it was called the Circle City Classic Reimagine Committee.
Right.
And that committee consisted of board members and some of our community stakeholders. And the whole intent of that committee is, let's look at this model. Let's figure out how we can engage more of the community, because at the same time the price tag was going up, the attendance was going down. And it's so interesting because you get a lot of social media is just the worst. It's a curse and it's a blessing at the same time. But we had a lot of community naysayers who said, oh, the attendance is just going down. I mean, they're bringing in these Division II teams, and we're not interested. We want the legacy teams. We want the big teams. We brought the big teams in. Maybe got 1,000 more people. I mean, so it's like you're listening. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this, and it really it didn't work. I mean, they still weren't coming. Now, I can tell you this. The outside, again, when you look at the optics, when you look at our parade, which on a given day, if the weather is great, that's over 50,000 people in attendance. They just weren't going down the street to Lucas Oil. We had a fan festival, jam-packed. They just weren't going up the stairs to Lucas Oil, So we have a huge Divine Nine Greek presence across the street. They weren't coming into the building. So, when you look at the outside, the ancillary events, great time. Everybody's having a great time. No one wants to go and watch a football game.
Was it ticketed? Would I have to buy a ticket to go in?
You had to buy a ticket,
Okay.
but I mean, we started our tickets at, we kept slashing the tickets. And again, when you do the math and you look at a $750,000 price tag, you need to sell 35,000 seats. Just to pay for the teams. That it doesn't include the labor, the security, and everything else, the lights on. So we kind of looked at it, and it's like, how do we, the board was still trying to figure out how to get these people in. How can we get the folks in? Well, in 2025, DEI happened. So before they could, I mean, I'm reading it, I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah, maybe because we thought we had a year's time, right? Let's figure out this way to get more community engagement. But we lost almost $1 million. We also...
$1 million in funding?
In funding, yes.
That would have normally come from...
Sponsors, government funds, universities. Just it was a gamut of funding.
Yeah. So you lost $1 million.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so, then you have to prioritize what is the most important thing to do and how do you continue to achieve your mission on everything else. And so we looked at the events, we looked at Classic, and we said, okay, what is the mission of Circle City Classic? It's to give youth an exposure to HBCUs. It's to give youth the opportunity from leadership. We do a Real Talk Team Forum. It's to engage our community. It's still community empowerment. Not to say that I love HBCUs. I bit my teeth on it when I first started with this organization, so I know all of them. But we had to figure out a different model and a different way to do it.
Right.
And so we thought, high school football, why not? Actually, it was on my reimagine committee's one of the options. Maybe we should look at high school football. Now, what the committee said is to add high school football as a component. I'm like, no. We can't add. We can't add anything.
Yeah.
But so we decided it was a great idea. Give the kids an opportunity to play inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Families will come to see their kids. We'll reduce the price tag. Do everything else that we planned on doing. Continue the parade. We hope for the Divine Nine will still come out. They always do for the parade. Fan festival. Nothing changes. Business training. We do a business and entrepreneur networking reception. Nothing changes. College career day. We may have to expand the space, right? Because we have 2,500 kids. Now we got all these kids. We do a talent day career fair in which we push the HBCUs through for our sponsors and our funders, right? Who are looking for talent. What we've found is with JD Finish Line, they love it. They've hired to date between internships and actual jobs, 100 kids who've gone through the Talent Day career fair over the past 2 years. So nothing changes. I'm really pumped and excited about it. And oh, by the way, we're adding HBCU basketball, which is half the price tag of the football teams. Because instead of 80 kids, you've got 15. And we'll be announcing a partnership with the venue. We'll be announcing the teams. They will be premier HBCU teams. So the hope is
this will be a different event, like at a different time.
It's a totally different. It will be in November.
Okay.
And we're trying to include, for instance, with the high school, we'll do girls flag football.
Yeah, that's right. So there would be 4 games. Is that right? 2 would be girls.
2 would be
flag
girls
football.
flag, and 2
would be
high
boys
schools.
high school.
Yes.
Yeah, and these aren't like these are good high school football teams. I mean, these are statewide good high school football.
Good high school football.
Yeah, right.
And we've had other schools now, which is why we got to figure out, the cost equation, because we have other schools who are very much interested in this, very excited about it. And you're absolutely right. These are some of the premiers, but we will expose other schools. Like, for instance, we've got, for the girls' high school, we've got IPS schools. Our coaches' luncheon will be honoring students. We did honor IPS students, but now we'll incorporate some of the students who are participating in the football. So very, very excited. I mean, I'm hoping that, again, at minimum, we will break even. If we make a little bit of money, that will be great. But, now we've got this other thing happening in November, which will be women's and men's HBCU basketball.
Okay. So you'll announce a venue.
Yes.
And in Indianapolis.
Yes.
Okay.
In Indianapolis.
Okay.
Yes.
In November, which is, kind of the time of year when.
Yeah. And it'll be in 2027.
These kind of like warm up tournaments before
yes. This is an invitational.
Starts.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And, we're looking at a venue for girls' high school basketball, because it happens within that time frame. Boys' high school would not be, I think it's maybe 2 or 3 weeks later.
Okay. So the teams would be from I don't know if there's a way to pronounce this acronym. It's the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference and the SWAC, the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Okay. And you'll be announcing those teams in coming days.
Yes.
Okay. And this will be annual. That's the plan.
That is the plan.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it's still a situation where you're paying the teams X amount of money.
Absolutely.
But instead of dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of players and coaches and personnel for a football team, you've got I don't know. It's 25.
Yeah, it's more controllable. Not to say, who knows what that price tag. We're in negotiations with some very, very good teams. So we'll see what that flushes out to be. But we're in conversations with some venues, and it'll be a good partnership. And again, the hope is that we will be able to do both. So again, the narrative is we've not killed anything. We've actually pivoted, and we may be expanding the timeline and the reach for our kids, because again, that is really our central focus, is giving kids the option of other post-secondary schools, right? I mean, it's just believing in the possibilities of what you can do by seeing it. So, I mean, our goal is, and again, I mean, it's at the will of the board. We'll look at this doing both. If we can do both, we will continue to do both.
Do both annually.
Okay. Nothing goes away on the outside. Now, remember, on the outside, everything's free. So we've got to get sponsors, dollars to actually continue to fund that. But I'm excited about what we're embarking on. Hopefully I have the energy, but, I think it'll be good. I really do think it'll be good. So
the first HBCU basketball invitational will be 2027.
It'll be in 27.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have the Circle City Classic this fall.
Yes.
Next year, will we have both events?
That is the goal.
That's the goal.
We will see what the dollars look like for the high school. But my guess is, if anything, what we'll have to manage, and of course, it's also contingent on the partnership with CIB.
Which owns Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yes, which owns Lucas Oil Stadium. I mean, we've always had this window, but we've had this window for HBCUs, so I hope they hear me talking. But it really is, even with that model, quite frankly, it's the bands that are the most costly. So we've got 3 HBCU bands. So if we look at the model, it's like, okay, maybe we do 2 versus 3, just to keep that HBCU flavored. So we'll look at the numbers, but our goal is to really try to do both.
When I saw the information, I thought it was a great idea. I mean, you have this current student body, obviously, but these are all Indianapolis area high schools.
Yes.
And so you have, I mean, how many tens of thousands of alumni?
Yes.
That are here in the community.
Yes.
I mean, kind of sounds like a winner to me. I mean,
yes.
In terms of attendance.
Yeah. Oh, I think it will be. I mean, because it's an event, right? I mean, the parade is still there. All the activations are still there. The fan festival. We also do a coronation, and I neglected to say that. And it's not a pageant. It is leadership development. We give away the top 3 girls. We give away a total of $10,000 in scholarships. And then everyone else gets $1,000. And usually it averages between 12 to 20 girls. This year we have 16 girls that we showcased at the open house. But so all of our activations will remain the same. We may shift some to the basketball side, but certainly no one wants to do a parade in November.
Yeah.
So we will keep our parade.
No, we don't. You're right.
So we're looking at pivoting, reimagining, which is what our board committee and community committee talked about. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the possibilities. I just got to wake up and be excited about fundraising.
Right.
So it's very difficult in this environment. But we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping that we get new sponsors, as we are activating the young people, that's a safe and important investment into the community. So, we're very hopeful.
Okay. So summer celebration, July 9th through the 19th.
If you say so, that's when I need my assistant.
Okay. We have confirmation. Okay. Awesome. Well, wow, we covered a ton of topics there. So I really appreciate you spelling all this out. Absolutely fascinating to learn about Black Expo.
Yes.
Great. Well, we'll have to follow up next year and see how things go.
Yes, I appreciate that.
My thanks again to Alice Watson. And folks, before you get on with the rest of your week, there are several stories in this week's issue of IBJ I want to draw to your attention. First up, Veterans could see major investments in their medical care in central Indiana if Congress approves more than $2 billion earmarked for a new hospital in Indianapolis and outpatient facility in Fishers. IBJ's Mickey Shuey has more on the plan for the new facilities. Also in this week's issue, Alyssa Maudlin lays out a new plan from Carmel to upgrade the massive parking lots along US 31. And Dave Lindquist reports on the growth of a new sport born 25 years ago in a parking lot for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Again, you can find these stories in the latest print edition of IBJ or online at ibj.com. I will say it is quite a bit easier to access all the latest business news and all of IBJ's data on Central Indiana's business community and economy if you're a subscriber. We're running a promotion right now that gives you complete access for $1 per week for 3 months, just to get a sense of how valuable and original our content is. Just go to ibj.com, click on the subscribe button. And thanks again for making time this week for the IBJ podcast. I'm Mason King. Hang in there, everybody. We'll be back again next week.